Hello everyone, welcome back to another anime review. We are reviewing an anime called I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Now the guy gets killed by a fucking knife, stabs him, he gets killed, he gets reincarnated as a slime. He makes friends with ogres and wolves and then he names them and they become completely different things. It's like that video game. It's like a video game where the farther you go into the game of an RPG, the monsters get more powerful, like goblins, the hobgoblins, and stuff like that. It's like that, but they get powerful when they get named. Pretty much own like fucking ogres into onis and stuff like that. But that's beside the point. So the first season per se is him, the slime, trying to, how do I say it? Trying to establish a village or a town, and then he tries to get into a city, so to speak. So that's the main gist of the first season. I mean, it's throughout the whole entire series, but that's the main focal point of the anime as a whole. So the first season is like that, except for the very end where he tries to help out a bunch of other kids who have these particles where if because there are two ways of coming to this world. It's either you get into this world by accident or you get summoned there. The only three characters that don't get summoned are the guy who wants Rimuru to help him out with the kids, Hinata who wants to get revenge on Rimuru because of the fact that she thinks that he killed her mentor in episode 8, but because of the fact that because of the fact that he did not, she wanted him to get her abilities, and because he devoured her, he got into a human body because that's what his perks are. Now, because he saved her from a flame, I think it's called, that was inside her body, he decides to beat her, and you should just watch it. It's pretty fucking dope. So the slime decides to do that. That's the main focal point of the first season. The second season is broken up into two sections. The first section is a kingdom tries to attack them with kids that were summoned there, which I feel bad for the girl because there are two guys and one girl. The girl gets killed by one of her own fucking comrades, one of the other two other warlords, and the guy, one of the guys gets decapitated, which I thought was fucking dope. Like they're from the netherworld, but for some reason they get fucking axed in like the first half of the season. Like they didn't, they show up in like a few episodes and then they get killed by episode 11. Except for one. One gets their body controlled by someone else, which I'll explain that later. But Rimuru in this part just fucking kills everyone with like an instant with a fucking water pistol, and then shoots like a fucking razor gun. So I thought that was interesting. He also decides to become a demon lord because before they fight against these characters, before they get decapitated, the other warlords decide to beat the crap out of everyone. They beat the crap out of the monsters, and the secretary of Rimuru ends up dying, and he wants to rescue them, and revives them, and he has to become a demon lord to do so. So that's the main first half of the second season. The second half of the second season is him establishing that he is a demon lord and trying to kill the demon lord that set this all up because of Melina. Melina was in the first season. She's also a 1,000-year-old demon lord, and she wants to be friends with him because of how much tasty the food is, which I thought was really interesting. So that's the main gist of it. Um, the first season is not like the second season. The first season is mainly focusing on trying to establish relationships with the ogres and making sure that he has relationship with other countries like the humans and stuff like that. So that's the main gist of the first season. The first season, the first half of the second season starts off like that. However, in the second season, another person that got there by accident, which is Hinata, which I've already established, she wants revenge on Rimuru because she thinks that Rimuru killed her mentor, which is not the case because the holy whatever the hell they're called, They manipulate her by making sure that they know about her. And in the third season, those guys that manipulate her want her dead, so they end up trying to kill her, which they do. Until the demon lord that they the demon lord that they the demon lord that they worship is a vampire, which I thought was really dope. She's a good person. However, she wants to kick the crap out of the fucking dragon. I mentioned the dragon before, but the dragon is stuck in a barrier in the first season, and then the second half of the second season, Rimuru saves him by giving him a human body, so that way he can leave the cave because he was locked in a barrier. So that's the main gist of that. So yeah, pretty much so. He also saves the kids. The kids end up coming in the third season, which I'll explain that later. But anyway, the second half of the second season, they end up beating the fucking jackass, and then he saves a bunch. He saves this little fucking fox thing, which I thought was really interesting. The demon lord also is there. He also establishes that he's a powerful being. The third season ends up being Hinata's pretty much arc, where Hinata wants to reconcile with him, but since the fucking douchebags that tried to attack him the first time, let's just say the people, well, her fucking country, the Holy Guard or whatever the hell it's called, that worship the fucking vampire demon lord, they decide to try to make peace talk, but they get a false fucking, they get a false, they get a false, what's it called? They get a false fucking recording of the main character saying that I want to face you one on one, but they don't do the whole entire message, which I thought was fucked up. So they're manipulating Hinata so that they can fight. They end up fighting because some blonde dumbass and some redhead moron, who the redhead moron winds up getting killed because of stupid reasons. But anyway, as I was saying, the third season starts off like that, and then after episode 9, I believe, after episode 9, that's when it just gets boring after a while, because then they start to do this fucking labyrinth type bullshit. The hero shows up at the very end, but he doesn't really do that much. He doesn't even fucking fight. He's just like a fucking stupid idiot. So that's the problem. I think I like this anime up until the second half of the third season. They might get a fourth season. I don't know. I hope it does. But the end of the fourth season kind of felt like it was boring and also really fucking chilled out. It was like a slice of. It felt like it was like two animes mashed together. Like it was like Graced by the Gods and another anime I can't figure out. But it felt like those two animes. Now, this anime came out in 2016 or 2018. Sorry, my apologies. I get my mix up. But I like this anime. It deserves to get an 8 out of 10. I love it that all the characters that he named are fucking OP as fuck. Even though he's more powerful than they are, and that's fucking saying something. There are some cool fights. I thought that was really interesting, and I did quite enjoy it until the second half of the third season. I thought the second half of the third season was really boring because all they're doing is making a festival so that way everyone can enjoy and everyone can have a party. Pretty much that's all it is, and it's just like what the fuck, man. I don't understand why they did that. It just baffles the fuck out of me, and I just don't understand it. But he ends up making a whole entire village into a city in the middle of a fucking forest, which I thought was fucking funny. I think they teased a little bit of the fourth season if they ever do it, and that's that. If they do make a fourth season, I would love to do it. But I'm giving this anime an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was good up until the very end. The music was good. The fight scenes are good. How the characters interact with each other is good. I mean, even though in the first season when he meets new characters, they are hostile to him, but he's a peacekeeper. He wants everyone to have peace, and that's what I like about him. Rimuru wants peace with all monsters and all humans. Problem is that every human wants him to be dead. Even the guy that tells him to help out the kids, I feel like that he's plotting something behind the scenes, but he's not really telling anyone, and that's the main problem I have with him. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. If they do something to him in the manga or something, I don't know. But he it seems like a nice guy. He agrees with Rimuru, but for some reason he wants him and Hinata to kill each other. I don't know. It just baffles the fuck out of me. I don't understand any of it, but hey, whatever. Some characters are just like, what the fuck? Like, there are some characters that need more development. What the fuck they're doing behind the scenes instead of talking to the main character, where they're acting completely different when they're not talking to the main character. And that's my main problem with that issue. But I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I liked everything of it except for the second half of the third season because they did plot that the main two villains, so to speak, the main two villains are Butler and his daughter. I don't know who the hell, but they're probably gonna end up dying at some point too because they're stupid idiots. I mean, they already lost like six, because there are seven of these holy guys, and six of them already died. Three by their fucking vampire demon lord, and the other three were killed by a rapper by the by demon lord's butler, which I thought was fucking dope. Like that's an interesting way to kill people. Just throw them into a fucking aluminum trash can and just smush them. That's fucking dope. All the seven guys are old as dirt, by the way. I mean, the seventh guy almost ends up dying, but he manages to escape. I don't know how, but whatever. But I hope you guys have a nice, positive day. Take care, and always stay positive. This anime review is a really good one. You should watch it. I like the last anime review I reviewed.